Hey, Sunday. What's going on, everybody? We finally got football week one down in the slate. Well, we still got one more game to go, but that's besides the point. We pretty much got them all out the way. And with that being said, it was actually a really good slate of games. I was like, except for one really atrocious one. They were all either within the balance of going into the late portion of the game where it's like something's gonna happen. You know that whole NFL red zone witching hour, like that thing. I was like, sometimes I just be thinking that thing is a joke, but then I was like, then stuff just be happening in the last quarter in a way that's kind of like I'm like, is it scripted? But no, we actually had a pretty good slate of games, and especially like I said, week one is always very sort of a really filling out party because I was like, because most of the players are tired because I was like, you ain't really been playing the way that practice can only do so much. You got to sort of see how some of the like which teams have improved. Most of the teams is always pretty much at the top. They stay pretty consistent, so you always got something to lean on there. But it's which teams like did they improve in this way from last year? Who might be moving up? Who might have a little bit more something to say as the season go on? But I was like, as the season goes on, I was like, I won't be able to do every single team because it's just sort of impossible in that type of way. So I'll probably have more highlights of or more thoughts on like certain teams or certain games that get certain matchups and stuff like that. But considering week one, guess what? Going to give you the whole shebang bang. And let's go ahead. I was like, Cardinals, Buffalo, told you that it was going to be a pretty close game just because I said don't underestimate the Cardinals in any of this, and they pretty much had the Bills. They had the Bills number for a good portion of the game until I sort of said in my predictions that I leaned toward Buffalo winning because I said I believe that Josh Allen is just going to make it happen, which it did. Because that's really the only thing that happened. They really couldn't do too much until Josh Allen was just like, hold on, everybody, I'm gonna be a bust because y'all need to get on my back and I'm gonna drive us here. Like that's like I was like he just started rushing. I was like he just started like using his legs and stuff like that. Like yeah, the whole pass thing's cute and whatever. But I basically said that the difference between him, I was like I believe more in his ability to get it done a little bit over Kyler, but I knew that both teams basically was going to be whoever quarterback had the magic, and Allen just had enough more magic at the end. And the defense got right when it needed to with the Bills as well too. They sort of started slowing. They started. I mean, I was like Colin Murray would have like especially the first half was sort of like I was like able to have like a pretty good game, but then after that they was over here able to make that little dude just run around and whatnot. So Buffalo gets the win. I think it's good. Also, you got Coleman to get a couple touches in this game. I was like Mac Hollins got a touchdown. So I was like, you was able to get a good amount of these new weapons worked in while Josh Allen did his magic. Now he did. I was like, he was sort of getting roughed up a little earlier. He did end up messing up his hand, but I was more on him than the sack he was taking in the pocket. But I was like, it was on his non-thrown hand. I was like, he's a trooper. He gonna fight through it. Speaking of another game team, I was like, I'll do a little bit of it because I was like, I already done video specifically talking about the Dolphins of where it looked like that game was done. It was over. The defense wasn't looking too hot at all. Ramsey, it's funny. As soon as he got that contract, he was sort of getting eaten up hell a lot in that game. Yeah, no, and I was like, and they couldn't get nothing popping on offense. Like it would be, it's there, but at the same time, the Jaguars do have a really good defense. I was like, they really are styled up front in a way that I was like, we don't have the line for that. I was like, to me, that's really sort of always sort of been like the weakness to me. But what I said too, I was like, the ability for Miami's offense versus the ability of Jacksonville's offense. And Jacksonville offense pretty much was really stagnant. They bit themselves in the foot a lot of times. I was like, ETN was like toward the end of the game messing up, and they just couldn't get nothing really going. And that really sort of did it because like they should have pretty much been able to just blow the water out of the ocean, whatever Dolphins do. Jaguars catches Dolphins, probably not. They're not around each other. But other than that, I was like, yeah, I was like that would help when you have explosive weapons like Hill, like Waddle, and whatnot. Like it wasn't a good game for either team, but I was like, but you sort of lean to the side that has the talent or something like that. Because Trevor Lawrence and Brian Robbins and Brian Thomas Jr., I was like, he was over here killing everybody, like for the most part at the beginning of the game. Talking about the stinker, the Panthers versus the Saints. Now, I was like, I'll give a little bit of an apology to David Carr because I did pick them to beat the Panthers, but I was like, I basically also said too that I was like, I don't believe in David Carr, I don't believe in these Saints. I was like, they seem to let you down with all the veterans that they do have. But in this game, that's not what it was. It looked like it was like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe the Panthers have gotten a little bit better or whatever like that. And then it's like, okay, couple mistakes here. Then after that, it was a wrap. It was over. It just was like it was just downhill domination. It's just like an avalanche. It just kept rolling. It was bad, and I'm just saying already this early. I don't know what Carolina gonna do because that's how bad that looked. I don't even have anything good to say with the Saints just because I'm like they did what they're supposed to do and they kept on and they did their job. The Panthers, on the other hand, there was nothing going well for them. Even the defense that looked like it was like being okay in the very like beginning of the game, maybe this got wear down because the offense couldn't do nothing. Like they really couldn't. They wasn't really run the ball. Bryce Young wasn't hitting on his targets. He was just off. He was just throwing the ball where it's just like, what did you see there? The line was over. It was bad. It was bad. It's bad where it's like you don't know if it's just the stink that the Panthers have now, or if Bryce Young is not the quarterback, or it's the environment that's making them that way. You almost got to nearly. I was like, I ain't gonna say that. That'd be a little bit of a threat, but I was like, you almost want to relocate. I would say something like that. The surprise of the matchups, I would say the Patriots, Bengals. Did not see the Bengals stinking it up so badly. I said in my announcement of the game that I was like the Patriots will keep it close. I was like they're not going to. I was like they still got a good amount of players on defense. It was really their offense that I was like, and you even seen like the offense. They're like the way they're going to have to play just because they are starved of a bit of talent there, but. The defense, I was like, they're going to keep you in games. I was like, even though it's the Patriots, I was like, the Patriots always seem to keep their defense always seem to keep in the game. It's always been their offense that's been horrible as the last few years have been. To where it's like it just wanes on the defense eventually. But the defense was able to keep the Bengals frustrated. I was like, I know they didn't have T. Higgins, but also this is sort of what to me is more scary for the Bengals because it's like even if they bring T. Higgins back, Jamar Chase was okay here. But you see Mixon, and we'll get to that game later where he looked like damn, yeah, they're gonna miss the hell out of him. I was like Tyler Boyd got done with the Titans, and it's like you're gonna miss that. That he would have came in a real good play today. Yeah, I was like the Bengals just could never get anything going in a particular way. That the Patriots just really just had us they just stuck to a formula. Like they really went full on Patriots mode in this. Just run the ball, do the throw that you are capable of making. Don't do anything stupid. We'll win the game, and that's pretty much what they did. So I was like, the Patriots. They might not be as putrid as one may think, or whatever. I do think that if Drake May didn't play, that they probably might be more dynamic, but they probably also wouldn't have won this game today at the same time too. So I can see the strategy that's going in it, but the Bengals. I'm just saying. I was like, I know they always start out slow during the year, but this is also something that's like, we had to see. Steelers and Falcons, pretty much was a Steeler game. I was like, where it was just defense. And to be honest, the Falcons are lucky they didn't really get their ass busted because there's a lot of stuff that where like T.J. Watt was killing them that could have just blew the game out in a lot of times, and it would be called back for like a penalty or something like that. So the Falcons got considered lucky like that. Kirk Cousins didn't look good really in this game. The offense didn't look good either. Like nobody really got off. It wasn't anything where it was like Pitts was going crazy or Robinson was doing this, Algier or it was really none of that. Kirk Cousins looked like what Kirk Cousins was before, like the early on kind of Minnesota, not like the last couple of years Minnesota. Um, Justin Fields, I was like played an efficient game. He was getting sacked a bunch. I was like, some of them was his, some of them is just like, they just there in front of you. I was like, their offensive line was okay. I didn't think the Steelers' offensive line was great or good or anything like that. So I think that also contributed because I was like the defense for Atlanta has improved. But also with Fields is you did get a lot. I was like Pickens got fed the ball, and I was like, that's at least one thing I think that is important is that hey, you are at least featuring your number one receiver in a way that's like okay, we can win or we could balance this out by like he don't like like because I was like also with their receivers that's also been one of the gripes always with still the receivers that they're not getting numbers and the offense is all stagnant. But Pickens was having a couple ball field. I think he played pretty good. I was like, I won't say he played like great, but I was like, I think he played pretty good. It's going to be a question mark to see him and Russell Wilson. I was like, the question is, do you think that this will happen with Russell Wilson? That's the thing. I was like, I think they were being too precautious with Justin Fields in a lot of spots where I was like, they didn't really run him until like the game was like towards the end or whatnot. But I thought they played a really good game. But as long as they got that defense, you don't have to have ball out top quarterback numbers. And I was like, the Falcons, I was like, they was in the game. The defense was doing their job. The offense just couldn't hold on to that piece of it. Colts Texans told you that while I think the Texans will win the division, the Colts aren't going to be that far off. They're going to be right there. And that's because yes, they got a pretty good defense as well because they was over here having C.J. Stroud moving a lot more than I think that we normally see him do last year or whatever, getting off his platform spot. He just is that good that he's able to just recognize and analyze a lot of things. I was like, but to go to Texans, I was like, their offense, I was like, once they get actually in rhythm, they're going to be really dangerous to stop. Because you've seen Tank Dell, you've seen Nico, you've seen Diggs get involved. They still got Robert Woods, a good veteran receiver. It's like the fourth dude. I was like, they Mixon was killing them today, and it was like, oh man, that's why I said Cincinnati's gonna miss that guy. Their defense didn't have like their defense was good this year, but I was like, to me, it really was more so that Anthony Richardson is really like that special. You could see it. Like, don't get me wrong, he did have some throw that left some stuff to be desired. But then you seen, oh my God, what this could be like with his passing, his arm talent. That was crazy, and it really made. I was like, it really makes me think of like Josh Allen, but where like in the second year kind of thing. But he's better than to me he's better than what Josh Allen was in his second year because Josh Allen didn't get. I don't believe he got Stephon Diggs his second or third year. Cause I was like that's when he really improved. So I was like, but Richardson, I already think that cause I was like, Josh Allen sometimes just be doing dumb stuff. But you can see the same type of talent where big, physical, fast, athletic, arm like crazy. I was like, I think he ripped the ball way differently than Josh Allen. But you see it where it's like that offense really was Richardson today. So it's like that's the part where it's like I'm like if they're going to do anything, it's going to be off of him. That's why they're going to be that close of these two quarterbacks being like the next thing coming up. Titans and Bears, I was like, Bears to be looking on all fronts. That your defense is because at first that defense wasn't looking too hot. It really wasn't. I was like Levis was over here like working them a bit, but that they kicked it up in gear and they was like if they play like that you ain't got to worry about nothing. But they're fortunate that defense came around. I guess special teams you want to include that too, and that Will Levis was doing all sorts of things that seemed like that's also why you might have fell a little bit in the draft. Maybe probably not, but God, it was just I was like, first good he was playing in the first half was like the opposite of what he played in the second half. Where it's like, dude, what are you doing? These are dumb moves. I was like, but I think the Titans. I was like, they also got a pretty good defense. A lot of these defenses are really in the middle of the pack, to be honest. But I was like, I think you did seem like also the good flashes from Will Levis using his arm and his leg at times. Caleb, I was like, they were just on him, to be honest. And I was like, I think in a lot of cases too, it was really rough for the rookie quarterbacks today. But I was like, I think you've seen a lot of. He should have had a touchdown, to be honest. I was like, he should have had two of them, I believe. I know Keenan Allen dropped one of them, but it wasn't a good overall game for him. It was doing a lot of that stuff that was like where people were like, is he gonna be able to do that stuff in the pros? And it's like, no, he's not. That's not how it works. Not at least right now. Later on in the season, he'll probably, like almost like have Jordan Love, where it's like, oh, I just gotta know when to do it type stuff. But I was like, look, they got the win, and that's sort of what matters, especially when you're gonna be trying to keep up in this division. Talking about another poor Vikings, Giants. Vikings, hey, if Sam Darnold knows how to get the ball to his weapons, then Darnold will be fine. Like I said, I'll give also a little positive to him, because I was like, he's the part of their team. I don't have no trust in that guy at all. But hey, he was going up against the Giants. And if there's somebody that nobody seemed like they trust, even the organization, it's Daniel Jones. He was making throws that's like, dude, you've been playing a little bit too long to still be making these throws out here like that. There was 4 people over there, my guy. Like, what you doing? That there was. It's gonna be a long season like that. To be honest, after all that, I didn't mind the jerseys. I thought the jerseys looked kind of all right, but when you got a sorry team like that, it might be a little difficult. Broncos and Seahawks. Bo Nix got a real awakening to the speed that is the Seahawks. Like I said, I didn't think the Broncos were gonna win. I didn't actually think they were gonna have a decent of a showing up until the time they did anyway. But the Seahawks, I just sort of figured, I was like, their offense is already potent, and they always got running backs. They had Walker and Cabernet, I don't know, Caviar, Joe Baguette, I don't know what his name is. It was like Bonnet or something. But they had them running, and also, too, I said that defense was going to look a whole lot different. I said they were already an athletic set of people, but now you actually have them playing real defense. And to be honest, I was like, if those dudes play, like, if you get them to play like how they had the Ravens playing, it's going to be a problem, because I think they got like a lot of potential on that side of it. So they made sure that Bo Nix realized you can't be doing all that stuff that made you look good in the preseason. Raiders and Chargers. It was a game of who wanted to win. I was like, Minshew, I was like, basically, while I thought was playing decent, and then he also cost the team a chance to win. I said with the Chargers, I said, look, I was like, Harbaugh is going to play defense, and the defense was all up on them on the Raiders, and he gonna run the ball. And J.K. Dobbins went and showed everybody why he was a first round pick a few years ago. And that's what they did. That was the whole game, was basically Herbert, throw the ball when need to, give it to the right people. I was like, you ain't got to do none of that deep ball stuff anymore. I was like, look, just run the ball, and we're going to play defense. And that's what they did, and they got that win. Commanders and Bucks, I was like, I'll take it. Then I was like, well, I was sort of half right. I did say watch out for the Commanders. It's still early. I was like, Daniels is still getting his legs in. I said I really worried about who was going to be the other players on defense that wasn't McLaurin, and of course Robinson and stuff like that. Eckler got involved as well too, but there was really nobody else really to throw to. I was like, and they like Daniel ran the ball, but he also one of them that's like, you about to learn how the NFL go. But I said that defense was going to be good, and even though the Bucks did put up points, to me, I was like, sometimes you got to look at some of these defensive games. That's like, it's not that the defense is bad. Sometimes the defense just can't hold up anymore when the offense isn't holding up to their end. Don't get me wrong, Baker Mayfield was over here giving them the business with Mike Evans all day. Mike Evans was like, yo, The only thing that my amount of seasons have to do, that's how many touchdowns I'm about to catch on you. That's about it. But Baker Mayfield, they had a good game. They were throwing the ball all over the place. I was like that defense. I was like defense and the offense. Even with some of the pieces they lost, they still look like they're pretty stout. So I was like. I was like, I don't not worry about them. I still think they're going to win the division. Like I said, there's more about the Commanders, and I was like, their defense. I think their defense is there. I think just the offensive figuring that out on that end. What I tell you about those Browns. I didn't know the Cowboys were going to come out playing like this. I didn't know that they were going to bust the Browns' ass so much that they would put up a number 2 like the Browns. But they did. And that got signed right before this. And guess what? He was like, yo, let me show them real quick and show out on them with this money. Because him and CD Lamb was just working them. I was like, they would just give. I was like, and Brandon Cooks getting involved. They were throwing the ball around a lot of them boys. Told you that I was like Elliott was going to be fine in that team, but I was also telling you that the main important thing is how he picked up blitzes and he pass protect. That's a big thing. Cause I was like, he's still good enough to give you 5 yard, not 5 yard of carry. I was like, that's crazy. But I'm saying like he can still give you good runs, 3 to 5 yards, where just like he's not the burst outrun speed anymore. But now he's more just like he could be more of a brooded back. He's still big. He was physical then. He still kind of is that now. He just don't have that top end speed anymore. But he still is very confident as a running back to get you what you need to. And then when you add Dalvin Cook, who is more side to side shifty kind of guy, I was like it'll have a good balance in there as well too. And the defense, for all the pieces they lost to the Commanders and stuff like that, they were still fast. They were still all over the place. Micah Parsons is about to be the next one to crash the bank. Yeah, I was like that Mike Zimmer defense. That's why I said it wasn't going to be that stark of a difference between. I mean, scheme wise, yes, but not as far as the tenacity that the defense played between Dan Quinn and Zimmer, because I was like Zimmer was only in the league like 2 years ago, still playing a really good defense. I was like now he got the talent to match it up. Yeah, no, and I was like the Browns. Told you that even though they have a great defense, I said you could still pass and you could still run on them, and that was proven last year that while yes, their stuff looks really great when you look at the number, but then when you look at other things and you look at the game, you do realize you can get them. And that's what it was. I was like they was able to get running on today. They was able to get passed on. It took a minute because it did look like that offensive line for the Cowboys that would hone up until they started actually doing some things where they were manipulating the line and stuff like that. But they basically, I was like the Browns couldn't do nothing. The Browns couldn't do nothing because even if the defense would have been decent, I was like the offense would have helping your ass out because Watson. About to be long for everybody. I was like, he probably only had like 6 good plays, and that was like probably third quarter. Hell, I was like, that might have been when the game was so out of yeah. Listen, I might put in Jameis. I'm just saying at some point. But last and not least, Rams Lions. So game pretty much. I was like, they always give us a barn burner of a good game, winning the overtime where the Lions were able to win. I thought that both teams just basically flip flop their offense and defense at times. Cause I was like, one time it'd be like, the Lions offense going great, the Rams defense can't do nothing. Oh, the Lions defense is stopping the Rams. Now the Rams offense is going crazy, and the Lions can't stop them. But I do think that the Lions did shore up enough on their defense in order to like compete, and because that's like when they gotta hunker down, they can hunker down. And I was like, their offense. If Jameson Williams can play like that, they'll be in a lot of these games because you got a lot with Laporta and St. Brown in the middle and intermediate routes that you just need somebody to be just basically give you some freedom for that, and Jameson can do that in different myriad of ways. And I was like, where he could take the slant, where he could do a deep ball. I was like, if that dude can do that, they're in good shape. I was like, and the running back, I think they still got to figure out because I was like, I thought they was using Gibbs a lot towards the end to solidify the game, which I mean, yeah, he can do, but I was like, then you also seen in overtime that Montgomery can also do that as well too. And I was like, I felt like they just sort of had to figure out that spot, but they still work them out pretty well to get it done with. I was like, the Rams, I was like, I think it's going to pretty much be where it's like, if it's a shootout, they got a shot, but at the same time, it might be difficult. But the Lions, because guess what? Goff is still going to sometimes do stuff where like he got like a first yard, he got a first down by running 7 yards. He had all that momentum, threw that bit away, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like a Jared Goff game where it's like it's sometimes here, then sometimes not, or whatever. I was like, don't get me wrong, Stafford could do that as well too. Cause I was like, he got away with a couple here that I was like could have been interceptions and stuff like that as well. But I was like, but I think the Rams is not going to go anywhere. I think that's how they're going to really be. But the Lions also able to say like, hey, we're going to be at the top of this conference at the same time. But so yeah, that was pretty much the NFL opening week 1 Sunday night matchup games long title. Yeah. Anyway, so what do you think? Who's your team? I was like, what did you think of what happened here during this Sunday? Does that make you any more confident going into the season or whatnot? I was like, me, kind of shaky. But anyway, until next set of games, that's when we'll talk about it. Peace. I'm out.